We bid in 2 years no matter what.
Regardless.
So
2 years,
even
no
if
matter
we
what.
take this extension, then we would have to rebid it in 2 years.
2 years, it gets rebid no matter what.
So it
So
has to be rebid. then.
Yes.
I mean, it has to be bid.
So can you give us the history, if I remember right? I think it was like, it used to be $9, they paid $4 a can, so it ended up being 13, and then they said they were gonna raise it anyway by $2, so they just made it even 15, and everybody got a can. Wasn't it something like that?
Well, we added
Yeah.
in, yes, so with the last time we bid it out, we
Yeah.
wanted cans included because we were having problems with just random trash being put at curbside. Animals go through that, there's all sorts of issues. Cans were being obtained from, put them out on one street and they end up on another street the other night, going out to the county, all sorts of issues. We solved that with cans, so now if you are in the city, you get a can. Also recycling services, he provided bigger cans for the recycling services, so it used to be the smaller red ones and it was once a week pickup, now it's twice a week pickup, or every other week pickup, but with a bigger can. These are all costs that they factor in that if they can provide us services for X amount, this is kind of the package deal you get. Going back to court day, Rumpke is part of the reasons our prices are where they are is because we are hauling out a lot of trash on court day. They're coming through 3 times a day, right, Nathan? Yeah. They provide so much tonnage that they'll accept for us during the year. That's why we're able to provide spring cleanup and those type things. So with the cost that they're proposing to us, they build in all those other things that they're providing for us.
Well, that's good to know.
You may look at it and say, well, this seems maybe a bit high or maybe not comparable, but there are other things we're getting out of the Rumpke contract that are not necessarily seen by a consumer that's just getting their trash picked up once a week. They're not seeing the trash pickups downtown that are taking place in the mornings, those type of things.
So they do spring cleanup, the paint, the leaves?
The paint is a little different. Nathan will work that with the county now.
Yes.
Right, but so.
They still take it from the county.
Right.
Yeah.
The leaves, we're getting that. We're getting the spring cleanup, you're correct. The court day, it's a lot of trash that's being removed, but they're kind of including that in their force too. And then other things as
dumpsters, if we have a property we need to go clean, we had Hobart, we went out there and they said it's 30 yards. We cleaned the property up and come by it, so that's.
yeah, we'll get
charge somebody getting.
like some of the benefits when we'll have a blighted or abandoned house that may be tore down. If we can get a contractor to do it for us, that cost of the debris, we can put that into our contract so we can get a lower price on the tear down of the house. So there are benefits that are available that are not seen, just through a regular price that the consumer would see. So we have a motion to accept the contract renewal for 2 years, or the contract extension, I should say, for 2 years. Second by Trimble. Any further discussion? Poll the members, please.
Barnes. Hilton. King. Murphy. Trimble.
Item number 9, resolution R11 2024. This is a resolution for an EPA grant. We have with us tonight some members from the Gateway Regional Arts Center, Executive Director Jordan Campbell. Jordan, are you going to speak for everyone tonight?
Sure.
Okay.
I know I'm the only
We got an exciting project.
game, so I'll try to hurry.
Yeah.
Cats are up 34-14.
So no reason to rush. Right?
I'll get to them first. I got like 6 minutes. Okay. All right. So this is an EPA grant, Environmental Protection Agency federal grant, and it would be a joint application for the city of Mount Sterling and the Gateway Regional Arts Center. The Transforming Adena Trail project revitalizes Mount Sterling's Adena Trail and Inkstone Creek through green infrastructure improvements, including flood mitigation, water quality enhancements, and native vegetation restoration. Project also includes the creation of a community arts resilience hub, which will serve as a cultural center year-round and provide shelter and resources during emergencies, natural disasters. That's a requirement of the EPA, so that's in there. This grant is a $10 million floor, which is the minimum you can apply for. They said if you apply for 9.8, you're thrown out. So 10 million minimum, and it is a non-match grant. So 20 million maximum. So this is sort of a moonshot application. If we don't get it, no problem. I mean, we'd like to get it.
At least we tried.
If we do get it, we're $10 million for this project. So these efforts aim to address flooding, pollution, inequities while creating accessible green spaces and fostering community engagement. There will also be public art initiatives involved in that as well, which is where the Arts Center comes in. And in collaboration between the city and the Arts Center, this is a 3-year initiative if we are awarded the grant, and it aligns with EPA priorities by promoting environmental justice, reducing pollution, and building climate resilience. I think that pretty much covers
I
it.
think it does, yeah, and I know you all put a lot of work into this
Yes.
application, so
Yeah.
we are already wanting to revitalize the Edina Trail. We've already got plans in place. We've already received some initial feedback. We've got more coming from the UK students. We've got some money set aside for that. We're budgeting for that project. This application, if approved, could provide additional funds for that project and allow us to do more than we had originally hoped for, or to be able to do more sooner instead of spacing it out. Plus the Community Resilience Hub project, which would be, Jordan, a new structure which would be utilized by the Gateway Regional Arts Center for programming, activities.
An expansion of our current facility. We would then become a campus. And it would sort of fill in gaps in the downtown area with this cultural center, state-of-the-art, and also up to all the environmental standards, so that in the case that there was a flooding emergency, instantly all of the resources would kind of be enabled to provide whatever people need. If there are people without housing, we would have cots. If there's a food shortage or something, then we would have food service inside the arts facility. So it still runs throughout the year, but in the event of a disaster, it would become
Emergency management could utilize that. So it'd be a dual-use facility that, if approved. So this is one of those, there is $10 million floor out there, and if nobody else is applying, then we might as well be. And let's
I will say
go
we have
after
a
that
pretty
money.
good chance of getting this grant just because we meet all of the recommended priority groups. We are considered a low-income community, marginalized populations within the footprint. The Hingston Creek is a watershed, so it's not only is it we need to protect the water and clean the water, but we also need to educate the community about the importance of that water system. So there are a lot of elements to that, and then we would also, I think, pretty much fully fund the Edina Trail area, revitalizing that, putting native flora, native plants back into that area that have been washed out over years of runoff. So a lot of really good things that kind of tie together the community.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this resolution, you would be authorizing me to sign because the city needs to be the lead on this and and the Gateway Regional Arts Center would be our partner in this project. And then to go ahead and submit the application, Jordan, the Gateway Regional Arts Center has worked extremely hard with Gateway Ad to put that application together. So I've provided little input other than my big ideas, but they've done all the hard work to put the application together, so.
Great, I'll make a motion.
Got a motion? A second, any further discussion? All the members, please.
Barnes.
Aye.
Hilton. King.
Aye.
Murphy. Trimble.
And this one is due in 2 days?
2 days.
This application, so you
All right,
got,
time for me
you
to-
got 2 days, Jordan, thank you so much.
You remember when Senator Alvarado came and told us about when we got the $8 million in the airport, he said, nobody asked for it. He said, we asked for it, and they gave it to us.
That's right, so we might as well put our name in the hat and see if we can get anything, so
Good stuff.
that's great. Well, Jordan, thank you for finding that, so, we didn't know anything about this until 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So a lot of work's been done in 3 weeks. Thank you.
47 page
Oh, no.
application.
Now everybody.
Okay. And I think I misnumbered them. That was item number 9 was the resolution. So item number 10 should be the medical cannabis. Okay, so I apologize for this being late, the ordinance number 2024-10. So the state is going to announce where the business licenses for dispensaries on Monday. So where those are going to be located, who has received those licenses. So we should know something by Monday evening, whether Mount Sterling was selected or not, or whether a business was selected or not that has chosen Mount Sterling to set up a medical cannabis dispensary. They've already made the announcements for cultivators, processors, producers, and the medical cannabis safety compliance facilities, and we were not selected. Our city was not chosen for any of those locations. So if a dispensary is going to set up, we should know by Monday evening. So we have held off on this ordinance as long as possible, because as we've had through previous discussions, we talked about, we didn't know what license fee we could assign to a medical cannabis business license. So we received clarification from Kentucky League of Cities, as well as a couple of cities have went ahead and passed ordinances with their license fees. So that's what is before you tonight. And once again, I apologize for it being late, but we've just been waiting for guidance. So this is a first reading. So it's not a perfect ordinance, and we can still make changes before final reading if we need to. But we have clarified that if a medical cannabis business is going to operate in the city, a dispensary, or any business, they would have to have the state-issued license, a city business license, and then a Mount Sterling medical cannabis business license. Those 3 licenses would have to be obtained. They'd have to be in their approved zone. We've already passed that through previous ordinances. That we clarify the license would be issued annually and be valid from the date of issue for 1 year. That's in line with what the state's doing. We have clarified that the license fee would be established at $500 annually. And that fee would be used for administrative oversight and then any code enforcement costs related to the enforcement of this ordinance here. Because you can't just arbitrarily throw a fee on and say, well, you're a business, here's what we're going to charge you. We don't do that for any other business except for alcohol. So you can't just throw out there and say, well, if you're going to be a medical cannabis business, we're going to charge you $5,000. That's just made up. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to justify the cost of the license. And we have thought with $500, that will cover the administrative cost and code enforcement costs for this ordinance. We've also stated that we can refuse or revoke a license if they do not live up to certain conditions. Basically, if they lose their state license, we would not issue one, or we could revoke it if they fail to get their city business license. If they make any false statements on their application to us, if they have any unsatisfied penalties, fines, or liens assessed by state or local government, a secondary review to make sure they're not within the 1,000 feet of any existing elementary, secondary school, or licensed daycare centers. And if they fail to comply with any applicable state or local laws or regulations dealing with zoning, building, safety, maintenance, health, sanitation, fire, electrical, plumbing, and mechanical codes. So basically, we just needed to have some things in place so that on Monday, if we are indeed selected as a community, then by the next meeting, we can have a second reading on this ordinance, and then we're ready on January 1st when they come in to get a license from us. Any questions on kind of what's before you? And I, once again, apologize for it being late, but I was working on this yesterday because only on Friday did I find guidance on the license fees.
I'll make
Just
a
ask for a motion.